Hey everybody, welcome back to Nerd News Today. I'm Matthew, and on today's episode we have a product review that is kind of overtaking my screen space at the moment. We have probably one of the biggest PVC pieces that Diamond Select has done, and that's saying a lot, but I don't know how I'm going to hold this thing, but here we go. Today we're taking a look at, from Diamond Select, their PVC figure diorama statue of the Immortal Hulk. For perspective, this is my head, this is the box. It's really huge and kind of heavy. I want to put this down. I'm in a world of pain. This statue is based on the fairly recent, and I say recent because it just wrapped up also not that too long ago, the fairly recent Al Ewing run on the Immortal Hulk, which was his baby. It was 50 issues of comic book perfection. And I gotta tell you guys, I loved it so much, even back when it first began, it inspired me to create a whole video series on this YouTube channel called You Should Be Reading Comics, where I raved about how much I loved it. And yeah, I pretty much stay with that. I love this thing from start to finish, from issue 1 to issue 50. Never got bad, kept going up. One of the greatest runs in the last decade, really, and really one of the best Hulk runs of all time. Highly recommend it, and if you do want to read it, I'm going to have links for that in the description of this video below. But this video is not going to be me raving about that comic. That could be a future video if you want to see that. But today we're talking about this statue. And again, this thing is a literal behemoth. I mean, when I think of the Immortal Hulk, this is it right here. I mean, this is a big, big boy. So yeah, let's just go right into things here and talk about this packaging real quick. And it is like every other Diamond Select PVC figure diorama piece out there, and that has a ton of windows to give you a glimpse inside of what this statue looks like. So on the front we have this massive window here that lets you see our rampaging character right now. Likewise too, on each side, as they spin it around, you got huge windows. This piece really is enormous. And not only that, you got a huge sunroof. Look at the size of this packaging, you guys. This is bigger than my head. This is nuts. I'm so excited to open this thing up. The back of the packaging is also, of course, enormous, but surprisingly, Hulk so big, but bio so small. That is a super duper tiny bio here, and it's kind of funny because, I mean, you can see how big this character is and see how small that block of text is. But the part that probably irks me the most is that it doesn't actually mention the Immortal Hulk run. Like, yeah, this is called the Immortal Hulk, and this is meant to be Devil Hulk from that series, but we don't get that information here at all. It just gives us the most generic Hulk bio of all time. And it's a good, solid bio. Don't get me wrong on that, too. It's a great truncated version of Bruce Banner and the Hulk's history, but doesn't really tell you anything about the comic book run or why it's even called the Immortal Hulk. So if you didn't know, you wouldn't know. But luckily, I'm here to fill you in all about that, and as I mentioned, I already did one video about it on this channel, so go ahead and look that up if you want to know more about the Immortal Hulk. But most importantly, and never a disappointment, Diamond always credits the artist who make this piece, and this beauty right here is done by two of our favorites, and that's Caesar and Alterton. So this was designed by Caesar and sculpted by Alterton, and they both do excellent work here. I'm pretty sure I reviewed another Hulk they did a while ago, which was a masterpiece. I'm expecting no less from this one here, that I'm absolutely getting a hernia holding. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this Immortal Hulk out of the packaging and take a closer look at him from all angles. All right, and here is our Immortal Hulk statue in the flesh, or I should say in the PVC, because that's what he really is. So yeah, you guys can see I'm zoomed out like super far on my camera here because he's just that big. So you can basically see the borders of where I'm working. Like, you know, this is the end over here of where my backdrop is. So that's how big he is. And just to show you guys as well, let's just grab my ruler. And I believe he's about close to, yeah, he's basically about 11 inches tall, maybe close to a foot tall, actually. It depends how you want to view it. But he's a big boy. And I mean, you know, even width-wise too, he's still nearly a foot long if you count arm to arm. So this guy's huge. Let's just do a quick rotation here, and I'll start giving you some of my initial thoughts here. But wow, this is huge. I mean, that really is kind of my initial thought. I'm just like, wow, this guy's massive. Man, this is like one of the best Hulks ever, and I've had a few other Hulks. You know, to be fair, Hulk is generally a pretty good statue. He's a pretty good figure. I can't say I've seen too many incarnations of the character that I don't like, especially in toy form. So this is really no different. It's just this one is like literally monstrous. I mean, after all, this is meant to be the Devil Hulk, right? So they made him as abominable as they possibly could. Sorry, Abomination, but you've been beaten today. So, man, this is some piece, though. This is some gorgeous looking piece. So I guess let's go ahead and spend some time on some of the different elements right now, and let's start with that likeness of our Immortal Hulk. So, you know, man, look at that face. This is such a cool looking shot. I've barely even done anything with the statue yet, and already it's just like, wow. Do we think this looks like the Immortal Hulk? I think yes, but I also think that there's a few things that maybe I don't quite like about this head. So for me, this Hulk is almost in some ways like a throwback to older versions of Hulk. I mean, this is clearly a very angry, monstrous Hulk. I'm going to use the word monstrous a lot because that basically is what the Devil Hulk is meant to be. So this is meant to be a really scary version of Hulk. He's smart, but in a different kind of way. This is not a stupid Hulk either. This is the kind of Hulk that is just very devious. And, you know, for me, I'm kind of comparing it to the artwork of that Immortal Hulk run. And it doesn't really quite look like that. It doesn't really capture the look of the comic that I remember. But it does have its own certain look to it. It has its own, I don't want to say finesse, but it has its own kind of style that still to me screams like this is a very, very scary Hulk. And this is a Hulk you don't want to mess with. But it's a very stylized take on the character, and it's not a bad take. But I guess for me, when you title something Immortal Hulk, I kind of do want it to look like the Immortal Hulk more so from the comics. And in this case here, it's not so much that kind of Hulk, but it still is a very scary looking Hulk. Like, if anything, this is a rampaging Hulk more so than the Immortal Hulk. You know, like, I don't remember the Immortal Hulk in the comics having this kind of bowl cut either, where he's missing all his hair from the sides. You know, the hair is, I think, probably the biggest problem for me. Actually, I kind of like the hair the least. That's the one thing about this that I don't really like. The face is really cool, though. Don't get me wrong. I'm not really, you know, trying to nitpick other things here about it. I think the face is great. I think it's so angry and frightening, and it's really great. It's just a little bit different than what I was expecting with something called the Immortal Hulk. So that's all I really have to say about that. But even with that, I mean, I like some of the choices that they made. Like, I really like the eyebrows. I like how beady the eyes are, and also how sunken those eyes are. I mean, they're really deep back in there. That's why if you're looking at it on camera right now, I mean, I'm seeing it through my lens, and you can barely even see his pupils, because the way they sculpted this, they're just so deep and sunken. It just looks like he's dark. He looks like he is just super evil. And that's what I'm talking about when I think the Immortal Hulk, because I do want something that is like that is a little bit more evil looking. And this they really captured. I mean, the way the brow is being furrowed in anger, the way the jaw is open, the cheek structure, it's all very angular. And, you know, Hulk, as we look here, he's typically not necessarily the most angular kind of character because he's very big. He's a very voluptuous kind of character because he's so muscly. That means he's going to be more curvy than he is angular. So in this case, what they did with the head to make him very angular was, I guess, partly the hair, also you can see it, was just have all these straight lines, these straight diagonal lines coming together to form a point that just make him look bad. And I'm pointing out the hair again just because I feel like, yeah, all these straight lines, they actually make sense now that I'm starting to look at it more and think about it. Do I still like it as much? No, I still would have liked something a little bit different. But I think I now understand what the purpose of this was for. But that's really cool. I do like the face. Don't get me wrong. It's just a little bit different than, well, I guess, what I was expecting. But, you know, as we zoom out a little more now, you can see some of the body here. And this body, man, I'm going to do another quick rotation here because I want you guys to see all the muscles in this bod. But damn, this Hulk is huge. He is jacked. He is angry. This is Hulk smash. He is a big boy. And talk about muscles. I mean, you know, we've looked at some other Hulk pieces in the past. We looked at recently, in fact, a Red Hulk action figure that I thought had some great muscles going on there. But this one here, this is the incomparable Hulk because, I mean, the size of this guy, this is beastly. This is gargantuan. I mean, they really made him enormous, and that's really cool. I think they went so big with him that it's, you know, they've made him his own kind of thing here. They've made him into a monster. Typically Hulk has been a big piece, yeah, but just the way he's posed, the muscles that are going on here, like, this is a frightening looking piece. Can't get over that. You know, as we kind of pull out a little bit more too, you'll see, I guess we'll start talking about maybe the base a little bit too, but as we kind of zoom down a little bit here and you see the base, you're also going to see his feet and the way his feet are planted. I mean, this is him just charging forward. And, you know, I think something actually I've kind of not talked about yet, which I think we should get into, is the color of the Hulk. And that's an important factor here too, because, you know, Hulk has gone through a lot of color changes in the past and over the years. You know, we've seen different versions of green that they've used. In this case, this is a very, very dark green. Now, typically, yeah, Hulk should be a darker, or I should say maybe a deeper green, but we've seen times where Hulk is like, you know, maybe a key lime pie green, or, you know, maybe not quite that neon, but you know what I'm talking about. He's been a pretty bright green at times. But in the case of our Immortal Hulk here, this one's very dark. This is a very serious tone of green, which I think is, again, another very perfect choice and very fitting to this version of the Hulk. So I like that choice. And likewise, too, with the purple spandex pants here, you know, same kind of thing. It's a very dark, deep shade of purple. It's almost black. I mean, you guys can see the way this statue is casting shadows right now. You can see how dark this piece is and how dramatic that is also. So, you know, likewise, all the colors here are very deep. And, you know, as I'm looking at this statue now this way, too, I'm seeing some of the vascularity of our Hulk statue and all the muscles that are just bulging out of his body. I mean, man, this is like, he is really going to hurt somebody here. I think that's the tone of this piece. This isn't like he's leaping into action. No, he's going to destroy things. And that's, I think, the tone that they're really trying to get across here, and it's clearly coming across. I think that's a great job. Now, let's talk about the base a little bit. Actually, we'll leave him in this angle because you can see the base really nicely here. Let's talk about this base a little bit. And, you know, bases are always one of the fun parts about diamond statues. This base is a little bit more simplistic, I think, than what we've seen, but let's get real here, folks. I mean, it's holding up a very, very big, very large, and very heavy piece of PVC, so you kind of need to have something here that can stand up to it. So no fragile bases, nothing subtle here. So what we get is basically a lot of rubble, it looks like. I'm pretty sure this is meant to be rubble. I'm debating whether or not this part here is meant to be like snow, or if it's meant to be clouds of smoke coming out from underneath it. So I'm not quite sure what it's meant to actually represent here. For the sake of this review, I'm just going to say it's ice, just because of the way it's like being built up here. So maybe it's ice or snow. I don't quite know, but I mean, there's all these shattered bits of stuff around him. So that's why I'm also thinking it could be smoke, because it almost feels like a lot of this rubble is actually coming up from underneath them as the Hulk just, like, you know, is running towards stuff and things are flying out past him. So, you know, I'm willing to accept any fan theories out there. If anybody has any ideas of what this base is meant to be, let me know your interpretation of it. But really what matters most is that it's very big, very wide, and it can hold up the statue and keep him very steady. Because let's get real here, folks. If this statue fell, it would not be pretty, but mostly not necessarily pretty for the statue. I mean, it wouldn't be pretty for whoever Hulk landed on, because Hulk smash. Now, as far as the paint job of this statue as well, I've got no complaints here. This is an extremely cleanly painted Hulk statue. I'm seeing no slop, no excess marks or anything like that, no excess brushes or anything. This is very clean. And it looks really great. Likewise with the base too, I'm not really seeing anything worth complaining about. It's just a very solid piece. And I feel like solid's actually a really great word for this piece, because this guy is huge. He is solid. This is a mammoth version of the Hulk. Can't get over that. Man, this is such a cool looking foot too. Every part of this is just really awesome. Like, I'm loving now as I see more of the tears in the clothing, like on his pants here, especially as they're tearing across his body. This is such an angry version of Hulk, and I love it. And while sure I can complain about the head, I still think everything else about this really fits who this version of the Hulk is meant to be. This is Devil Hulk. This is Scary Hulk. This is Hulk who's going to eat your babies and make you watch while he does it. Now, I will say this PVC statue of the Hulk is one of the more higher-end versions that Diamond's doing these days. You know, 'cause typically we've talked about Diamond statues, and they're usually in the $50 range. But this Hulk is a very big one, as you can tell. So he is not going 50. He's going for more than that. The prices will vary. I am going to have a link in my description of this video here below, and you can see what the current price is on this Hulk. But yeah, he's going to set you back a little bit more than your typical statue, but keep in mind what you're getting, the size of what you're getting, and the weight of what you're getting. And likewise, you know, if you got this piece done in, let's say, resin, it would easily be double, if not 3 times the price. So you're getting what you pay for, and I still say if you're into statues and statue collecting and you want a Hulk that's like this, still a good price. Again, prices will vary, but I have an idea of generally what this guy goes for. I think it's a fair price considering just everything about this piece here. So yeah, that is our look at the Immortal Hulk, coming to us from Caesar and Alterton. You know, it's another masterpiece by those two guys. They really do excellent work, and this is no different. I mean, this is such a great version of the Hulk. It's scary, it's monstrous. I can't think of a better way to do this kind of a character, and especially from that run. I mean, short of making it look exactly like the drawings, which frankly, that could just be a licensing issue, but as is, the way this guy is looking, this is so cool. This is perfect. I'm really happy with this Hulk, and I think you're going to love him too. What a strange choice of words to talk about the Devil Hulk with, but yeah, no, it's a superb Hulk piece, and you know what, also for the sake of drama, I'm going to move this light here. I'm gonna harken back to the Marvel Masterpieces 94 trading cards. And here we go. Let's get some red light underneath him. Oh, now we're talking. Now this, folks, is Devil Hulk. Oh, yes. Okay. So there we go. What difference a little bit of lighting makes. Wow. So yeah, that's our look at the Devil Hulk. Highly recommend this one. Such a great piece. So yeah, if you want to pick him up, check out my Amazon links in my description below. And hey, let me know what you think about this statue, and if you want to add him to your collection too. I know he's a tough one because he is going to have a heavier price tag, but it's a heavier piece. So until next time, I'm Matthew. This has been Nerd News Today. Thanks for watching, and watch out for the Immortal Hulk.